Fox News alert now. Seattle's mayor announcing the dismantling of the chop zone earlier this week. But guess what? Some protesters refusing to leave. As we're learning new information, many shop owners in that zone now plan to sue the city for abandoning their neighborhood. While one of the chop shooting victims is considering suing the police for not responding to him quickly enough. Let's bring in Dan Henninger. He's deputy editor for the Wall Street Journal editorial page. Of course, Dan, good morning. Let me get this straight. Chop kicks the cops out. One of the Chop folks gets shot. Now he wants to sue the police because somehow it's their fault for not helping him.
Yeah, you can't make it up. But, you know, he's not really going to be able to sue the police. The police work for the city of Seattle, so the lawsuit would be directed at the city of Seattle, just as will be those lawsuits by business owners for the failure to protect them. And I suspect the city of Seattle's got some problems here. People in cities sue them all the time for broken curbs and the like. And in Seattle, it was literally a conscious failure to protect those businesses. And I think the taxpayers of Seattle are going to end up indeed settling some lawsuits with business owners in Chop who were not protected.
Yeah, you make a really interesting point there, and I want to read from what these small businesses who have been caught in the middle of this, the mayor failing to do anything, the Chop members just deciding they're going to take over these few blocks. Their lawsuit, the small business owner says, this lawsuit is about the constitutional and other legal rights of plaintiffs, which have been overrun by the city of Seattle's unprecedented decision to abandon and close off an entire city neighborhood, leaving it unchecked by the police, unserved by fire and emergency health services, and inaccessible to the public at large. So these small business owners, some of them, we've reported on this, have had to hire private security because guess what? They didn't have the police. And beyond that, in this lawsuit, if it ever gets to court, Dan, I wonder if the mayor's comments about, oh, it's going to be a block party, it's going to be the summer of love, that could be important information for a judge to consider.
I agree with that. I mean, there's a short phrase to describe everything you were just talking about there, Ed. It's called the rule of law. The rule of law actually means something. This means laws exist, they're on the books, they are enforced, and people can appeal to them when they have grievances. And in this case, the people of Seattle and other cities do have grievances against the people, the mayors and the police departments running those cities for a failure to protect them, to carry out their obligations. And I think there are going to be lawsuits of that sort. I mean, what we saw on the streets was an act of lawlessness, really an ideology of lawlessness. And they may assert that, but I think a lot of these cities are going to pay the price in the future for having failed to carry out their responsibilities to protect private property.
Failed to carry out their responsibilities. Obviously, you're not just referring to Seattle. You see statues coming down. You see very few Democratic mayors and governors, if at all. I guess the Wisconsin governor was calling in the National Guard last night. There's rare exceptions where Democratic politicians are stepping up. You write we shouldn't really be surprised by this in the Wall Street Journal this morning. How did the capitulation happen so fast? In fact, it was a long time coming. The activists' steady descent into irrational, illogical claims, it was impossible to miss. It became obvious that wokeness had turned into a weapon, but liberal leadership blandly let it happen. Wokeness as a weapon.
Yeah, well, people, I think, are stunned, Ed, at how fast this has happened in the past 4 weeks. The pulling down of monuments to presidents like George Washington, Jefferson, Ulysses S. Grant. They can't imagine where this came from. Well, it happened over the past 30 years. It started on the campuses when they enforced and instituted speech codes, which forbade a certain amount of words to be said by people. University presidents were complicit in that. Then they denied tenure to conservative professors who were kind of ballast against groupthink. And then when the students started to attack their own liberal professors as racists, the universities stood aside, as did their liberal colleagues, and let that happen too. That were the seeds of cancel culture. That was the seeds of the irrational anti-history that we're seeing right now. People in positions, liberals in positions of leadership in our institutions stood by and let that happen. And now the progressives are saying, you work for us. Get out of the way, Joe Biden. Get out of the way, Nancy Pelosi. We're taking over. And people like Nancy Pelosi are basically saying, no problem.
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting. Bob Johnson, very wise man, the founder of BET, first black billionaire, he told Fox News Digital. The people who are basically tearing down statues, trying to make a statement, are basically borderline anarchists. So there are some people speaking out and standing up. Dan, your column is very interesting this morning. People should check it out. Appreciate you coming on.